gymnastics. As far as the wrestling did, what I did was I intimidated a lot of people because I didn't give a
big gold and a billfold.
All right, we are recording here.
I can't get this shit closed.
We are live, Rip. Somebody that just said you are one of his top 2 favorite people, along with Phil Collins, EC3, baby. Welcome to Live Studios.
That's not what he said.
Wrestling with Rip Rogers. What did he say?
He said I owed him money from years ago and I was an asshole.
No, I said, hey, man, we're square, all right?
Oh, square. I can't hear.
All debts are paid. All debts are paid.
He's got that bad ear. Hey, I'm sure you watch the show all the time. I'm sure you're a subscriber. So I'm sure you know exactly how this thing goes down every time that we do these interviews.
And, you know, like, actually, I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I try to not do anything with wrestling because it's such a horrible cesspool of nonsense.
All right. So you try not to do interviews? Is that what you're saying?
No, I try not to watch anything involving wrestling. But Rip Rogers taught me one thing is how to call it out there. So I think we'll be okay.
All right, man.
Shit.
Well, we'll get this show on the road. We don't typically have a script. We don't typically have any idea what we're doing. Rip usually doesn't talk. He's already talked in this interview more than he usually talks.
Let the guest talk
the whole time.
Get over, you know.
I've got a whole bunch of page of notes though from Wikipedia, man. So we should be.
Oh,
we should.
Yeah.
Look how
Wikipedia.
You're too fucking jacked now. Shit, I got the third.
Yeah.
I got the worst body on this screen. That ain't nice.
Well,
I look like Donald.
the
I look like Donald Trump or what was the guy on Back to the Future? Doc.
Doc, that's
I
who.
want to look like Doc, but my hair gets wet. It's like I got like 4 hairs when it's wet, like Trump. I wish I had Trump's money. And some of these bitches too.
Yeah, you got the sharpest mind.
Can we get into this, man?
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's all right. So I don't know. So you came from. We don't typically go through the entire life story. I like to do a lot of first, and
I came from Cleveland.
Cleveland, baby, yeah, around Cleveland. I don't know if you're actually from Cleveland, but
We're just saying Cleveland.
close to Cleveland.
Yeah. Cleveland, yes, outside of Cleveland.
You started training around there though, right? Before you went to like OVW.
Yeah. The first day I walked into a quote wrestling school, it was a 16 by 16 and an 18 by 18 car garage. Handed some weirdo a bunch of money, went to go to the bathroom. It was a toilet in the corner, and the first thing I saw was a giant piece of shit just in there in the toilet. I was like, well, this is gonna be my life from now on, and I was right.
That's awesome. Who was your original trainer?
His name's J-Rock out of Cleveland. He's still running amok up there.
Did you know anybody in that class? Do you remember? Obviously you just described your first day and what you saw. Do you remember any of the other wrestlers in that class, trainees, so to speak?
Yeah, our entire backyard federation trained.
Oh, really?
So I'm like with all of them. Yeah. No,
and you did that for a few years before you made the move then to OVW. How'd that come about?
The pressing need to expand my skills, learn from the best, put myself in a position to be out there. I mean, at the time, OVW not only is the WWE training ground, but one legitimate realistic school that teaches you the right way in a fucking shady, crazy business. So I didn't want to become the complacent indie wrestler driving around, having the same matches with my friends, saying they're good. I needed hard critiques and I needed lessons and I needed to be taught fundamentals from the bottom up. And I needed to learn from, I guess we'll say the best. So it's you. It's you.
Oh, that's me.
It's you, Ripper.
Yeah.
So I remember. So I was actually down there. I probably don't remember me, but I was in Rip's class. I was in the DCW. I remember at the time you came in, Contract was there, right? Contract was still there.
I believe so. DCW was
Rip's little.
Show. Yeah, but I did one show.
Yeah, you did a show or two with us. I remember.
Just one.
Yeah,
we were so pumped about DCW and how it was starting. And like, because we all had a kind of tight knit little crew that, you know, worked their asses off and wanted to show and like, fuck, even having the WWE guys like be better than them. Like our show could be better.
Yeah.
And the first show is when I blew out my ACL.
Ah, I remember that now. Yeah.
When I had to leave to have surgery. So it's kind of like I missed that entire thing. So
I was wondering, I was looking back at Wikipedia. And I remember you were at DCW for a show, and I couldn't remember what the day. I remember that happening now. I remember you back in the office talking with Rip, and I remember all that shit.
You know what he told me?
McDonald's is hiring.
No. Said, shit, there goes my first champion. And I was like, yeah.
And then it had to be the Big Cat after that. Man, what a
wow.
Went from EC3 to the Big Cat, man.
Well, Big Cat was he was a hell of a hit because he did all that gay porn, you know.
Well, that was after the fact.
Am I allowed to say?
I don't know. We'll edit that out. I mean,
you ain't going to edit it.
Yeah, we don't do a lot of. Go ahead.
Yeah, the thing about the Wikipedia is it doesn't have the details, and it also doesn't have all the facts, or even half the facts.
I know. So I'm half-ass kidding because Rip bitches about Wikipedia all the time. So
everything on there about me was wrong.
Yeah.
Me too. From my middle name to my weight to my.
Well, your middle name's C.
Your middle name's C.
E. First name's E. Middle name's C. Last name 3.
Exactly.
So I forgot about the I forgot about the knee deal. So what happened after that? You go home, rehab? How'd that all work out?
Yeah, I had to have my old man come pick me up from Louisville. I had to leave my little fuck pad. I did enjoy Louisville. That was cool. Yeah, pack it up, quit my job as a server at the Cheesecake Factory, move home, live with my parents, get surgery, you know, and lay there for 6 months and live with your mom and dad when, you know.
It's awesome, ain't it?
Holy shit.
So cool.
Backing up, I think WWE was still in there. So you were doing some OVW TV though before that, right? When we started kicking off the DCW, weren't you doing OVW TV?
Enhancement things. Do you know the story about That's How You Do TV and how that heat carried over to like about 2012 with me?
I do not, but we'd love to hear it.
There was they put me in a get over match with, I think, Amish Roadkill, or maybe it was Dan Rodman. It was Dan Rodman. And, you know, the purpose of the match is to get him over. He kicks my ass. No big deal. So he kicked my ass. No big deal. Yeah, it was a good match for him. And I come to the back and, you know, I'm kind of a sarcastic asshole and I'm kind of a jokester. And I said, woo, baby, that's how we do TV. Like, I'm real pumped. It went well. And like CM Punk heard about it and hated me forever. And TJ Wilson heard about it and hated me forever. And The Miz, like all the TV guys. And I had no idea until I was signed and in the system and hanging out with TJ Wilson because we became friends. He's like, man, you know, you have a ton of heat from saying that's how you do TV. I was like, what? So for, 5 fucking years that carried over and people, like, they all shook my hand and were friendly to my face, but they hated me. So we're cool now, I guess.
Yeah, that's wild. No, I never heard that story. What do you think of that, Rip?
Oh, so that's the wrestling business. This is the business we chose to be in. We're all fucking pretty much gutter scum, or we wouldn't want to be. We were all criminal. Well, not anymore. Everybody's a pussy.
Yeah, not anymore. Yeah,
but it used to be everybody was half criminal, didn't want a real job, wanted to get free shit, not and just hang out all night, train and do whatever. Well, you had a job for how many years straight now? You've just done fantastic.
Well, yeah, I guess I was signed at the end of in 2009. And even though I was fired twice and left a job, yeah, I've had a job all the way till now. I don't really have a job now. I'm kind of trying my own shit.
Yeah, we're definitely going to get to that. So after the surgery, though, you came back. You didn't come back to OVW then, right? You got signed pretty quickly after that, didn't you?
Yeah, my intention was to come back, but at the same time, the developmental system moved to FCW. And when they moved there, they initially had like a giant tryout, which was a cash grab, obviously. So every idiot that thinks they can make it's paid $1,000 to come to this tryout, me being one of them, but I believed I could make it. And I was signed out of that. So I was then in the system.
Oh, you did get signed out of that. Did you work anywhere before that, after your knee surgery, to get back into shape and stuff?
Yeah.
Like
sparse indies in Cleveland area and stuff like that. I really had no independent identity short of local shit and driving 3 hours for no reason to dumb shitty shows.
Do you remember how many people got signed out of that deal?
I believe 5.
Who talked to you? How'd that go down? Who offered you? Do you remember?
At the tryout, John Laurinaitis stated, "No matter what, someone's leaving here with a job. We have one job we're going to give away."
Well, they
Blah, blah,
have
blah.
to. I mean, shit, they can't.
And so, like, throughout the tryout, you know, I had the fundamentals. I had rips, tutelage. You know, I have the look. I have charisma. I put myself out there as much as possible. I was selfish to say, but I was the standout of this tryout. And at the end, John Laurinaitis is going over, you know, one guy stood above everybody else, this and that, like putting over, and it's like, sounds like me. And he's like, and this guy has no experience, so we're going to give him a contract and build him from the ground up. Matt Walsh. But like when he said M, I'm like, Michael, no. So yeah, Matt Walsh got signed. And then I drove home from Florida because my buddy was moving his mother at the same time. And I sat in the back of a moving truck in a rocking chair, fucking eating cookies and just depressed eating, miserable, like walking around, like holding my head, like, how the fuck, that fucking guy? Whatever. Go back home. I'm working at the Cheesecake Factory. My phone starts buzzing in my little apron, which I shouldn't have had on me. I go take it, and it's Steve Kern, and offered me, you know, say, we're going to sign you and all this. And, you know, do you accept? And I'm like, yeah, that's fucking great. And I go back to the table. They're like, where have you been? We've been trying to order for 20 minutes. I'm like, I just got my dream job offered to me. You know, this is kind of the biggest deal of my life. And I'm here with you as the guest here at the Cheesecake Factory. And they're like, oh, that's so cool. And then I bought them dinner, but then they left me like $150 tip. So,
oh, nice.
Back when I had a heart.
Now the wrestling business took your heart away, huh? So
more
Matt Walsh was the only guy they announced. They basically just gave everybody the big FU there until you got home and then gave you the phone call. God, that's wild.
Well, that's awesome because now he's even 10 times more appreciated when he gets that call. Whereas before you'd have been driving home happier and shit. No, they want to stomp the mud hole out of you and then build you up a little bit, you know.
Whatever happened to Matt Walsh? Any idea?
We're still Facebook and Instagram buddies. He plays guitar. He's living a nice life. Beautiful wife, 2 wonderful children.
Nice.
3 things I don't have.
Like, wait a minute.
Things I don't
dreadfully boring. Jesus Christ. Who wants to do that?
I
you
don't
want to be a hot guy like you, be on TV, be a star, and hit bitches. Hell yeah.
Yeah. It wears on you though.
Well,
it wears on your soul.
Get new, younger, more attractive men and hit them guys in. What the hell, right?
Whatever it takes.
So then you went through ECW or FCW and NXT. Ultimately, I don't think you ever got called up that first time, right? Were you ever on the road doing WWE shows?
Yeah, our NXT thing was kind of on the road because they filmed it before SmackDown. So in theory, we were on the road.
Oh, they did?
It might have been a live event. Yeah, but we filmed before SmackDown in front of a very confused and relentless audience who was just waiting to see The Undertaker and Cena and shit.
Yeah.
So who are these idiots and why are they putting them through dumbass challenges? I don't understand what I'm watching.
Oh, so you did that? You did that thing then? You did the contest or whatever it was?
Yeah, because the first 2 seasons of it were on television, but then it became the internet exclusive.
Yeah.
And then it just lived on the internet. I actually, in theory, probably that competition aspect was rigged and I didn't win. Went back to FCW because I also had another knee injury, whatever, come back from that. I get a call to go back to the road. I'm like, hell yeah. All right. I can't wait to see what they have for me. This is going to be great. And at the same time, that NXT just became this weird soap opera. And so I got called up to be on SmackDown as I was told, but in fact, I was just back on NXT.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
You mean they lied? Somebody in the wrestling business lied to you?
They didn't lie as much as embellish a false truth.
Well, I know from people that have been in the big time and they would embellish shit around and they exist for years, could get people jobs, they could make or break for your career. I know that shit's going around for a long, long time.
Sounds
you
big
will.
familiar.
Vaguely familiar.
Oh God.
So after that, you went to pretty much went to TNA, right? Right after that.
Yeah, then I got fucking fired. You know, they were switching over FCW to become the NXT developmental system, moving everything to Orlando. I was still hanging on from yesterday's trash. Shit canned me. Fucking see ya.
Did they give you a reason?
They have nothing for me, which
Yeah.
at the same time, too, as much as I was trying to do new and different things, you know, new people in powers, new position powers, they want their guys. If this hasn't worked already, like it's expendable. It's easy to get rid of.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's the best thing that happened in theory because then I had a real chance with Impact and TNA.
Yeah, that's I mean, that's I actually was watching a lot of that at the time and I thought it was awesome, man. So how did that was that your idea, somebody else's idea? How'd that all come to play, man? I thought that was a hot thing going for quite a while.
What cost me my job with WWE was what probably put me in position to succeed in TNA because somebody new was coming into the management position and wanted to build their own guys. So that was John Gabor, who worked with WWE, and you know, he saw the NXT shit and he's like, oh, this kid's got something, you know, he's worth a shot. They had the idea for a character that was Dixie's nephew, but it wasn't like, this is how we see it. It's like, this is the character's a rich, entitled brat. Can you play that? And I'm like, I was born to, man. I was born to. But, you know, from that, all you need is your foot in the door. And if you have confidence, they're going to get behind you a little bit, then you have all the confidence in the world to really put yourself out there and do it, I think.
Yeah, saying that, I mean, that's something Rip always told us in class all the time, no matter what. If they call and say, hey, can you do this? Yes. Hey, can you speak this language? Yes. Give us some more, a little bit more on Rip and maybe meeting Rip for the first time. Some thoughts if you can remember that. Any kind of Rip stories, Rip training, Rip class, anything you got on the Hustler Rip Rogers.
Yeah, what I loved about class and training is his ability to make you work without sacrificing your body. So learning those things. What resonates with me and what I try to instill in people now is stuff I got from Rip, Dr. Tom, and Terry Taylor, is just the application and usage of holds as weapons as opposed to filler, things like that. A lot of the making your shit mean something carried over, where I don't think people understood what he was saying, but like, we can do all the cool shit. It's just about when and where and why, you know, instead of just doing it. I love the drill where we just took corners and we fucking beat each other up, snatched holds and switched, and he was calling out body parts and things like that. Our Broadways, fucking great. Training was, the thing about like getting into that training is I started developing the independent brain before I got there, where I thought it was, I need to do German suplexes and power bombs and suicide dives. And then being instilled the fundamentals of the business and seeing how they actually do work was a big part of Rip training for me. Being able to say crazy shit to make it make sense. Like, I don't know if we have to edit this out.
No, say it.
Tell you the amount of times I'm telling like a young guy, look, man, you don't fist her before you kiss her, you know?
Well, maybe I'll have to edit that. No, I'm kidding, man.
So just, yeah. And then tough but fair, but it wasn't that tough if you were a real man who really wanted to do what you were really doing. It wasn't tough at all. It was insightful. It was critical for the right reasons, and it brought the best out of you. And I think the fucking language made it, because you can resonate with it, because it's stuck in your head while you're doing it. You're hearing him say everything you're doing, and it's like, yeah, all right, commit to the holy, you know, shit like that. So
speaking of the effing language, did he ever tell you to get the fuck out of the ring? Did you ever get that from Rip? That was his big thing, man.
I was fairly decent, but I do believe I got to get the fuck out of the ring. But I think it was after a promo where I thought it'd be funny to moon the fucking squad. I don't think it was in ring. I do remember, because it was so jovial yet like cutting, you know, the shit talking, that it resonated like moves, when he spoke to you from the heart, it really meant something too. So I do remember this one time he was kind of giving everybody solo critiques and calling everyone over, and I was sitting there nervous, like, you know, they're going to see the principal, and he calls me over. He just kind of stares at me for a little bit, and he says, you know, you're a diamond in the rough. You're going to make it. I went, okay, fuck,
Wow.
that means done. And that stuck with me.
I think he just made that up.
No, man.
All right, Rip, give us some EC3 stories, man. Obviously, you thought he was it was a good call. I mean,
Well, he was a young man in the prime of life.
yeah, get up here.
He was a
Rip.
young man in the prime of life, looking good, had a good work ethic, and he wasn't obnoxious, and he took everything serious because this is the profession he wanted to do, and he went out and did it. But he's the one that did the work. Sometimes you got to shut the fuck up. Sometimes you can be bombastic, but he was a grinder. He would go out there and give every practice. He wasn't sandbagging.
Yeah.
He was out there busting balls to get it done consistently. No days off.
I think, yeah, what people lack in this industry too is consistency. Like everything is, if you want anything, it just takes rigid, nonstop consistency. And if that, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect every time, but if you're consistently trying to get better every day, you will.
Yeah. And just think, Rip, you were one blown knee away from EC3 as your DCW champion instead of the Big Cat.
Well,
hey, the Big Cat beat me in the finals of that tournament too. Could have been me and you, man.
Could have been.
Maybe I would have beat him. I could have been the champ, maybe.
and you could have done the male porn.
Then I could have done male porn. That'd been awesome. That would have been great. So TNA came to an end eventually. Was that just your contract was up and getting back into WWE? Is that the transition there?
Yeah, again, I still had some time left on the contract, and it was a good deal, and I enjoyed it. But also at the same time, there's a management changeover. A lot of stuff's going on. New management, let's build some new guys. I didn't want to stick around and do the same thing again and again.
Yeah.
So I had to evolve in some way, somehow, whether it was as a character or where I can take that. Obviously, WWE was on. I don't like how it went either time, obviously. But that time, like, now I have the confidence, you know, the pedigree. I have the name. I can go over there and fucking get it done. And maybe I could have with better chances or opportunities, or if I forced myself into those opportunities and chances. But yeah, like, cordially asking Impact, like, you're going this way, I can go this way. There's no hard feelings. Like, we can always do business. They're like, yeah, you know, because we need to cut payroll. This is a great move for us. As long as everybody's cool with it, like, we can build, and then this place will be bigger if you ever come back. Love it. Great. Good business.
Who's your top competition, your best feud, favorite person to work with, whatever you want to say, and when you were with Impact, TNA?
My best feud was probably with Rockstar Spud, because we were best friends.
Hey, he's a Rip guy.
Still our best friends.
Nice.
But what was great about TNA is we were able to force that story by consistently telling it before it even started, because we knew where it was going to go. I was going to go on to be a solo act, and him as my comedic, you know, sidekick was going to probably have to re-evolve too. So by being able, we're both smart to the business. We're both students of Rip. You know, we can see what's going to happen, laying the foundation before it actually does, and then giving them reasons to let us run with it all the way through. So that was like an opportunity for both of us as young guys to build our own feud and have our own payoff and have our own conclusion to our own story. It was very fulfilling. And then that got me ready to go against Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
And beat him for a world title. So that's cool.
That's gotta be nice. Well, I mean, while you're on there, give us something about Angle, man. I just think that would be phenomenal to be in the ring with him.
It was unreal.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. It was surreal, unreal. Hard to, like, Kurt was at the time too, like, this is a later age Kurt, but Kurt at 85% is better than 100% of people, 100%. But to be able to go in there and hang with him and have him endorse you personally and professionally by putting you over, but by like what he said to me after the match and things like that, when I was a kid, I was asked what my dream match was, and my dream match always was a world title match with Kurt Angle.
Oh, wow.
And I was able to have that. So it's all been downhill from there. But not be able to do that and have that, and him to take me aside and endorse me in a private conversation was, nobody can ever talk shit about me at all, ever at this point, because one of the greatest of all time said I'm fucking good. So
yeah,
care what you say, Twitter. I don't care what you say, fucking DMs. I don't care what you say, fucking reporter that's never stepped foot in the ring. Like, Kurt Angle endorsed me. I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, you said it's all down. I mean, nobody can take that away from you. Rips told several people, like, you made it, you were in, you did this, you followed your dream, you're in the ring with Kurt Angle, title match, everything, and nobody can ever take that away from you. So that's fucking awesome, man. I think.
I'm happy.
So, to get back to the maybe not so good of stuff, back to WWE, NXT looked like it was going real good. Get called up. You'd already kind of talked about, different opportunities, stuff like that. Answer it how you want. Don't answer at all. Like, what the hell happened then when you get back up in WWE?
I'm fully transparent. There's like nothing. I think people can learn from this, as I've learned how to be a man and shit like that. NXT was cool. It was good. It was more of a placeholder because, I was probably going to be on the main roster in some role. Didn't know when or where. Like WWE runs, sometimes drastic things happen like that. They needed an influx of new talent. The way I look at it too is Vince wasn't hands-on with NXT. Trips was. They throw a bunch of fucking 8x10s on a fucking table, and Vince is like, I don't know, that one, maybe that one looks all right. No, man, all right, fine. With no real rhyme or reason why we're going to call him up or what the context is. So for him to quickly, he's a busy guy, learn about 5 to 6 new talents. He's probably watched one little thing here, one little thing there. Here's what I think. Give it to the writers. Even if the writer's like, well, no, I don't think that's a good idea. I don't care. This is what we're doing. The call-up was really haphazard. There's no rhyme or reason for it. There was no long-term plan for it, which was my mistake. I should have been ready to adjust and be ready for anything. So getting called up, and the first thing they took away was one of my strongest assets, was the ability to speak. So Vince saw one promo. He thought, oh, this guy's better off like talking like a weatherman, if at all. That, all right, you're fucking crushed from the beginning when your strongest assets is taken from you. From there, I got into matches with Moxley, who was on his way out. And we're running pretty decent matches on live events. But at that time, he was leaving, and he made that public statement. So all the fans are cheering him, though he's a bad guy, and booing me, though I'm a good guy. But why would they cheer me when they love this guy and don't know who the fuck I am?
Right.
So one of the matches, Rip kicked in our head, but mine at least, and we switched it on the fly, where I started working as the heel and letting him run the comebacks as the babyface. And, it was awesome. It was probably our best match. And
this was a non-TV show, right? Or non-TV match? Yep.
Yeah. And then somebody was perturbed by the audacity of us to do that. And since they couldn't punish him, I guess they felt the need to punish me. Next day, I'm getting my ass kicked on Raw. Next day, I'm a fucking joke. Time goes on. I got called up originally, too. I was fucking concussed, which was weird. I wasn't concussed. I got cleared before I got on the main roster, but I'm coming off this concussion. Now I'm starting to get my head rocked. I probably got my head rocked and started working through it because I just got called up. Eventually, it's figured out that I'm a fucking mental train wreck because, my brain's not working. Pulled off for injury. Took a while to get back from that concussion. When I come back, there's a fucking pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
There's like, well, we got to fire people. And why wouldn't they fire the guy that hasn't worked in 6 months because he has brain damage? It makes sense.
Man, that sucks, man.
Wow.
Yeah. So does Vince really not watch NXT at all? Like, was he not watching?
I don't think he had the time to watch it then, and it was entrusted on trips. Maybe he would. I know a lot of times that people got called from NXT was just Vince being in the elevator and NXT was playing, and he saw somebody and goes,
No shit.
"Yeah, we can do that." So, did he do thorough research with like pen and pad and think tanks and roundtables for people? Probably not. Did he see something when he needed to? Yeah.
Got it. Hey man, we're about 5-6 minutes here. Let's get into now, man. What are you doing now? I know you were with the Control Your Narrative. You guys kind of started that going up. You've had some shows. What else you got going on? Give us your current.
Control Your Narrative was built as an idea. It wasn't built as a promotion or a television show or a brand, so to speak. It was built to be an idea and a brand inside the idea. We were able to run some live shows. Obviously, we had Adam, Braun attached, and a lot came really quickly based on name value that maybe a small business and a small company isn't ready for, because the infrastructure is fucking me. Yeah. All right. Like, what the fuck? We have a lot of loyal young guys who like bought into the idea and things like that. But also, I hate saying it, the false promises of we're going to have a massive TV deal. We're going to have this giant tour. We had ideas of it, but I always tried to temper their expectations because anything could change. Obviously, Adam goes back to WWE. Things are going to have to change. It's a step back to take the proper steps forward. But at the same time, it's kind of figuring out what that is. And then I love the idea of it just being an infectious idea that shows up from place to place. And, talent are involved in it because they believe in the ideals. Maybe it's a cult. Maybe it's a movement. I don't know. Whoever creatively wants to interpret it, what it is. But at the same time, I still think we can create a platform to tell stories of the talents that are based on their reality more so than written by a writer, red light, become a character. Another rip thing is always like, you're the best version of yourself. Nobody could be a better version of you than you. And that stuck with me. And I try to instill that into other people, for better or worse.
That's awesome, man. So that's going to continue on.
Yeah, it'll continue on. I think the idea is to probably co-brand with other independents with the ideas, making that a television show in its own right. And at the same time, I'm working with Corgan and NWA now. I see a lot of growth in their future, and I do like how they built their brand and their product the right way with the right vision intact. So being a part of that's pretty cool.
Is that breaking news? Did we just break news on here, or is that public news? Did the know that?
I did the pay-per-views, and I'm on the TV. So
oh shit! I thought we just broke news, Rip.
Man.
Hey, are you gonna get you're gonna ask him to get Corgan on this show, man? That's your chance right here.
Well, you're the boss.
You got to talk every once in a while, man.
I'm listening.
I'm
when enjoying the story.
We've been trying to get Billy Corgan on here, man. Why don't you put in a good word for us?
I will for sure.
Be awesome. So we knew you were doing some NWA stuff. Maybe it's been on TV. I don't know for sure. But we talked to Bam Bam, Jerry Penders, Trax.
Yeah, Trax, man.
TRAXX. He let us.
I like the fact. I love when people come up to me and go, they're introducing me. I'm like, oh, whatever. And they're like, I'm a Rip Rogers guy. And I go, oh, I'm listening. So yeah, he does things the right way. He's a tough motherfucker. And hopefully what we did at TV gets some more opportunities because he deserves it.
Yeah, he seemed pretty excited about it. He was back, man, when I started. He was only 19, I think, in Nick Dinsmore's class back at the old building. That's when I met him. So he got out for a while and then back in. So he's been doing a lot of shit. So he was really jacked to get in there with NWA and do some tapings or whatever. And he sent me and Rip a text on the same thread saying that he'd been talking to you and stuff. So I thought that was really cool.
It's really cool too, because the business of the match is for me, but I've been in the other side, and to try to give somebody something that gets them somewhere, no matter how small it might be, and his way of thinking on how to get one thing in that wasn't even move based, that was more so moment and character, making sure that went through, and he did it, and that's what got him noticed for the next thing. So you teach us well, man. You teach us well.
Shit, you guys do the shit yourself. I'm just out there yelling at you.
Yeah.
I mean, Rip, the thing about you, man, everything, all the little bitty stuff, just little things that nobody would ever think about, whether it's a look or a not look or have your back turned or how you get, just all that shit that nobody else does. I mean, and people say that on here all the time.
That's just missing too, man. You can watch a modern product all the way through, and if you're ingrained like that, you just look at it and be like, oh, if they just fucking did this, that would have been 10 times better. And it's nothing more than the look or the movement or the turn, you know?
Have your back turned.
Never really critique somebody, because then they're too fucking soft to take it.
Yeah, right. Hey, so we are about finished here. Thanks so much for joining us. Anything else that you want to put over, plug, anything else?
Nah, man. I mean, controlyournarrative.com, freeec3.com, at the real EC3 on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, at Control Your Narrative on Facebook, TikTok, maybe Twitter, Instagram. I don't know. Some kids running the socials, but nothing more than, I guess, a positive message to fucking go get the fuck out of this podcast. That's what.
All right, man.
A personal thanks to a man, whether he knows it or not, had a great influence on the man I became. So
that's awesome, man.
The main thing is you got a lot of girls from Bumble swiping right on you.
Oh my God.
I beat Bumble already. I moved on to Hinge.
Oh, Lord. All right, man. Thanks a lot. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure, gents. Thank you.
All right. We'll see you, buddy.
Thanks.
Yeah. Big gold and a billfold, so swole that I can't get the shit closed. So I money fold and rubber band wrap, and when it pop, bitches sound like a hand clap.